it's Beverly. Time for some crochet time. Okay, what the deal is I got 1, 2, 3, 4 projects. 4 whips. Okay, this one's in front, so we'll talk about this one first. Okay, this is the Super Saver ombre. And this is in the color Anthograti. I don't know. It's the gray one, you guys. And of course, everybody knows this is 100% acrylic. And this one has 482 yards. Now, I bought this a while back, and I forgot what I made with it. But I had this pattern. It's called the Premier Textured Wave Throw. And this came in my Mary Maxim 3rd quarter Afghan Club. The pattern is free, and it's an intermediate. You guys, don't try this if you're looking for something easy, because the pattern is not complete. There's a lot of stitches that you have to skip that are not mentioned in the pattern. Okay, so what I mean by that is you make a V-stitch, cool. But in the next row, you do stitching in the V-stitch, but it doesn't tell you to make sure you skip the second leg of the V-stitch. Okay, so they're telling you that it's 1 stitch and you're not going to do anything in the second leg. Then in one of it, you do 3 double crochets, 3 double crochets in 1 stitch, okay, in the same stitch. The next row, you do 3 double crochets in the center, but it doesn't tell you to skip this because it's counting it as 1 stitch. So it can be very confusing. But here's what it looks like. Now, I don't have a lot of it done. Let's see, I gotta find which is the bottom and which is the top. Okay, so this is how it goes. And I'm going to explain what this is in a minute. Okay, so you can see that it's real pretty. Okay, so that could be the back part. So maybe this is the front. Okay, and you can see that it's going to be really pretty. And then what you do is you do this shell in the V-stitch from the previous row. And then here's where you do the 3 doubles, and then you do 3 doubles in the next row. So you can see it's going to be really pretty. And as this yarn goes from color to color, it's going to be real pretty. And the reason I kept this in my stash, I think I made a blanket out of this before. But I can't really use it to make hats. I don't really make that many scarves. So I only have 1 skein of it, and it's readily available at Walmart, as you know. So I thought, okay, I got to get it out of my stash. I'm going to make this blanket. Now, the reason I have this little chain at the end is I chained too many stitches. Okay? So in order to keep the pattern going, you have to have multiples of 14 plus 18 is the multiple. And when I came over here to the end, it didn't work out. So I've talked to you guys this before, and plus the blanket is very long. It measures more than 36 inches, which is enough. I could do it now, I can do it later, is undo my initial slip knot, and then just undo this. Now, it doesn't just ravel, you have to unweave it, so to speak. But then I don't have to, redo my chain. So that's what I do. So in order to do the continuity of the pattern, I stopped here, and later I will undo this chain. So to me, it's better to have more chains than you need than not enough. So that's what that is. Now this is a very pretty blanket. You'll be seeing my progress as I go along, but it's definitely intermediate unless you approach it thinking about these groups of stitches as an entire stitch. So that means I'm going to skip this one and skip that one because it doesn't really tell you. And then, like, for example, it tells you to skip the next 3 double crochets. Well, really, it's only 2 that you're skipping, you know, visually. So the way I look at it, it's coming out beautiful. Now, if you go to my Facebook page, you'll see Pamela, or Patty Hoffman, posted a picture of this blanket that she made. She didn't use the same color of yarn as I'm using, but hers is gray, and so that you can identify it on my Facebook page. But it's a very pretty blanket. I'm happy to be using this yarn, and already figured it out, so that's good. And I'm using an eye hook for this pattern. Now this pattern initially called for a size 17 hook, and you were using real bulky yarn. So I'm using number 4, so I'm using an I because I prefer to use an I or a J with number 4. Okay, next, what have I got? Okay, the next thing I got is Christy's hat. Remember, we're doing the wackadoo challenge. Did you guys see the look on her face when she opened up my bag? It was so much fun. So she's doing her part of the wackadoo, and what makes it wacky is we sent each other some yarn and a pattern and said, okay, make it. And then the way I'm looking at it is the wacky holiday. On the day that this is finished will be my wackadoo, and that will be my entry into Mad Mimi's Wacky Make-A-Do challenge. Okay. If you follow the hashtag Wacky Make-A-Do, you'll see what we're talking about if I haven't made myself clear in this or a previous video. Okay, so here's the hat. Here's the pattern. Okay, here's the pattern. It's from Premier, and it's called the Waffle Hat. Now, this is knitted, so it doesn't actually look like the waffle stitch in crochet, okay? This pattern has 4 sizes, and I decided to make the 3rd size, which is to cast on 84 stitches. The size before that is 78, and the size after that is 90. So I was a little worried that it would be too big, so I'm going to bring Sally over here and put this on Sally and hopefully not get it off my needles. I'm going to explain my needles in just a little bit, and I'm going to put it over Sally. I already had it on her once. I should have left it. But see, there's Sally, and see, it's fitting Sally very well. I don't want to lose my stitches, but you can see it's going to fit Sally very good. So I'm glad I picked that size. The reason I picked that size was I do a beanie, or the football hat. You guys saw the football hat, and that for an adult is 80 stitches, and so this is 84, and it has a 2-to-1 rib, which is 2 knits and 1 purl. 2 knits, 1 purl. And I think it's just coming out perfect. Okay, so now let me talk about the pattern. Now, the first thing that it wants you to do is to cast on, I use the long tail cast on, 84 stitches on, for this size, 84 stitches on a number 8 16-inch needle. And I have some chow goo. I have the 16 inches in the size 7 and in size 8. So I did 2 inches for this size of the 2x1 rib using the size 8 16-inch circular needles. Now the only thing about these chai goos, I love them. I love the join, where it joins from the cord to the needle. I love that. They're just pointy. So you have to, there's no sticking it in your finger and kind of shoving the stitches. No, you gotta use your hand, and because they're kind of pointy. Okay, then after your 2-inch rib, they want you to switch to a US 9, and they would, hopefully you would have the 16-inch. Well, I didn't. Okay, I had a 32-inch, so that's what this is, and that's what allowed me to put this around Sally's head, because if it was 16, if this needle here was 16 inches, I wouldn't have been able to try it on Sally. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm knitting, these are Knitter's Pride, if I didn't say that, and I really love them because I like the join. The Knitter's Pride. Zinger. Zing. Just zing. Okay? And what I'm doing with these is I'm doing the magic, I think they call it the magic loop. And I'm pulling the loop. I don't, you guys can't see me, but I'm pulling the loop and I'm knitting it like this. See the loops? And then I have to reposition it after every row. Now I have a tutorial on how to make a hat with the magic loop. And then I always put a stitch marker in the center of the stitches and on both sides, because you have on this side you have your beginning. Sorry, this is all the same color. So my stitch marker for the beginning of my row. You can see it's that little bead or whatever it is, circle. And then over here I have a stitch marker for the center of my hat. The reason I do that is because sometimes when you're stitching, all these stitches will come together and you can't find the center of the hat. But I have a tutorial on how to do this. Okay, guys? Now, this pattern has a 4-row repeat. You have 2 rows of knit and then 2 rows of alternating purl stitches and knit stitches. Not the moss stitch or the seed stitch, but 2 purls, 1 knit, 2 purls, 1 knit, or 1 knit, 2 purls. Those are the 2 alternating rows. And as you can see, it's kind of making a bump. Hopefully you guys can see it. And you'll be seeing it as it progresses. So this is the Whack-A-Make-A-Do challenge with Christy. Crochet Creations with Christy and Mad Meanie. So that's what's going on with my hat. I started it yesterday. It was February 1st. And we'll see when I get it done. Oh, and the yarn I'm using is Christy sent me some Premier Sweet Roll. And I think Gelato is this color. No, Gelato Pop is this color. Okay, so the Sweet Roll. And this is the actual yarn type that was suggested for this pattern. And so far I'm not having any issues with this pattern. The biggest thing is you have to decide what size that you want. The size that I picked, which was the 84 stitches, gives you 19 3/4 around. at the brim, and normally hats I make are 20. So the 90 stitches for the cast on would have you do a 21¼ inch hat. So to me, that's a little bit big. And so as you saw, this one fits on Sally, and that's normally what I make the hats for. Okay, the next project. The next project is again a Crochet's Creations with Christy. And this is her Sunday Live make-along. And in this Cinnamon Stitches bag, you guys, in my Cinnamon Stitches bag, I have the sweater. Now, she calls this the vanilla sweater, and she's not intending on making a pattern for it. So she wants you to start making the pattern on her live number 55. So if you go to Christy, Crochet Creations with Christy's YouTube and look for her videos and do the live number 55, she'll tell you what to do. Now, the yarn that I'm using is the Bernat DK. And as you know, it's a great big giant skein. And I don't want to take it out of here because the more you handle these skeins, the more they fall apart, and then the more yarn barf you get. So I just want to talk a little bit about this. Now, when I made it, she wanted you to use an H hook. Okay? And I did. I used an H. And I'm happy with the size of it. But initially, I think I feel a sneeze coming on. Initially, she wanted you to do 8 rows for your yoke. Well, it was making my sweater come out way too big. Okay, so what I did, maybe I crochet looser than she does. You know, you never know. So what I did is I made my yoke, this part right here, before you start the body, 3 inches. And the reason I did that, which ended up being 6 rows, the reason I did that is because other sweaters I've made, I make the yoke 3 inches, okay? And you can see the yoke in the back, and then you start the body. So she had 8 rows, I think, for the yoke. I took mine down to 6 rows on the yoke. And I was happy with the size. Because what happens is you do the yoke, and then when you start the body, you close it for the sleeve. And I was just real happy with how it came out with just 6 rows instead of 8. Okay? So that's just my tip. And then I did the 14 rows that she suggested for the body. Now, I'm a little behind. Today is Wednesday, so I have to get cracking on this. She wants you to do the edging. The edging would be, of course, around the neck and the bottom and the front sides. And create the buttonholes and put on the buttons. And so I picked out some just some regular white buttons that I'm going to use. So that's what's in my Cinnamon Stitches bag. Okay, so that's another one. And then, of course, excuse me, I have my squares. Now, this, I believe, is my number 16th square. There's my H hook. Did you guys hear it rolling around? There it is. Okay, so there's my H crochet hook, and I'm going to do some crochet time with you guys. So hold on one sec. Okay, I'm back. I had to move my tote bag of yarn closer. Okay, so where I'm at right now is I finished the square. I tied in sewed in all my ends, and I've marked my square on each side with a stitch marker. The reason I do that is because they want us to do 28 stitches along the edge in single crochets. Well, I do better if I can separate it into 14 and 14. And then that way I can stagger my stitches a little bit easier. So that's why I have these stitch markers on the side of my square. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and single crochet from this stitch marker. What you have to have 3 single crochets in the corner. So I did that. And then I did my first single crochet of the 14, and I put a stitch marker because I'm going to be counting to make sure I have 14. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to be doing single crochets. Okay. So now let's have some yarn chat. So what's been going on? Well, last time I talked to you, I'm going to tilt the camera down just a little bit. There we go. The yarn split. Oh, and this yarn is Mary Maxim. Maximum Value. And I love, love, love it. And I'm using an H hook. Okay, so I told you guys in the last video that I had bought some Ogos. Let me get my yarn ring. See the ring? Because it helps me keep the yarn on the front of my finger. Because I'm starting to get a dent, you guys, from so much crochet, but I can't stop. I have to keep going. See how I got it? I know there's a different way to do it, but I didn't hold it there very long. See how I got the yarn kind of around the peacock's neck. I think that's a peacock. It looks like peacock feathers. Just to keep the yarn on the front of my finger, because I tend to do it back further. Okay, where do I want to put this one in? So anyway, I ordered the Ogos, and they got stuck in Massachusetts. They made it from Connecticut to Massachusetts, and then that big snowstorm hit, so. But they finally left Massachusetts after 4 days, and they made it to Pennsylvania. Shout out to Pennsylvania. So that's what's going on with my Ogos. And I printed out a couple patterns that I want to make hats out of on the Ogo. You guys know I want to make the Fair Isle one because I showed you a picture of that one. And yesterday, which was Tuesday, I placed an order with Mary Maxim. And here's why. In my closet, in this one corner, the yarn is not organized. It's in a brown box, you know, and then it's just piled up in bags. And what it is it's mostly baby yarn, pink and blue, and then miscellaneous yarn like that Bernat DK Sport. And I don't use it that often, but it's just in bags. And when I go in there, I'm basically standing on the top of my head trying to pull out stuff. So let's count these, because I made it to the first stitch marker. Wow, that came out 14, you guys. It's a miracle. Okay, then I take out the next stitch marker, and I go into that stitch, and I mark that stitch. And that way I know that it's the first stitch of the next 14. Otherwise, I would be driving myself nuts, counting and counting. So that's how I do it. Okay, so I bought this yarn organizer from Mary Maxim. And you hang it, you know, in your closet. And so hopefully it has 6 shelves, I guess. It's just made out of material. And then that way I can, you know, get that yarn up off the floor and organized so that I can just reach in and get what I need. So I did that. And then in the same order, I ordered 2 mystery things. They had a mystery of acrylic yarn, mill ends, for $5. A pound of yarn for $5, acrylic. Because I don't need any more cotton. I have tons of cotton. And then they had the mystery box. And if you guys remember, in 2020, during the pandemic, I ordered quite a few mystery bags or boxes from Maxim. I think I got 3 months in a row. You know, you don't sign up for it. You just, you know, have to log on and order it. And I was real happy with that yarn, and I think I've used it all. I think I used it all. So I just thought it would be fun to get a mystery. And of course there's some, you know, probably some discontinued yarns in it, but that's fine with me. We'll see what we get. We'll open it up and I'll share it with you guys. Okay, let's see if we got our next 14. You guys are bringing me luck. I got 14 again. So then in this corner, I'm going to do 3 more single crochets. Okay, I got my 3. And then I'm going to go over here and do the first one of our 14 on this side. So I'm going to take this stitch marker out and put it in that stitch. And do the next side. And see, I got a stitch marker over here. It's purple. Okay. Now, I am so nervous, you guys. Oh. The COVID test for the cruise. Okay. It's a proctored test, which means you do it over like Zoom with somebody that watches you take the test. And then they walk you through it. They watch you to, you know, make sure you're doing it and all that good stuff. And then they email you the results. You print out the results. And I take a copy of it and give it to Celebrity, so that hopefully I can board the cruise. Which, by the way, leaves on the 26th. And this is the 2nd. Okay. So, I've been thinking about this, and I've been watching videos and all that stuff, and it shows how you can invalidate your test. One way, this one guy, I feel so sorry for him. He invalidated his test because he knocked the test kit off of the table, you know, because you're so stressed, you're so worried, you're trying to make sure the camera's in the right position so the guy can see it. You have to unscrew this little bottle and put 6 drops of this liquid in the first hole, and then, you know, swipe your nose and then swipe your nose again, and then you have to stick it in this test card through one hole and then up through the other hole. Close the lid, wait 15 minutes, turn the card over, and hope that you get a negative test. Well, one person didn't get enough liquid out of the little bottle, and so the test results did not float up to the proper part on the back of the test card. Now, I only bought 2 tests. It's $70 for 2 tests. So that's one for me and one for Mr. Crafts. So it's just real stressful. So we're going to have a dry run. I'm going to do arts and crafts and make us these test kits and have him watch the video so he knows what to expect. Now my nose is itching because I was... But it's just real stressful. And I got it in my mind how I want to do it. And I want to do it, but it's 24 days away. I can't do it. Okay, so that's what's going on. And so I put it on Facebook because anybody else nervous, like me. Some person comes, don't be nervous, there's a proctor. That doesn't change anything. I know there's a proctor. Okay, let's count and see if I got 14. 2, 4, 6. Ooh, I got 13, so I'm going to make one more right here. Ooh, now my nose is itching, you guys. So anyway, okay, so now I got 14. So now I have to go ahead in the next stitch here, and I hope that I don't end up short at the end. So I'm going to put the stitch marker in this stitch here, which is number 1 of 14. I'm going to pause you guys and go get something to drink. Okay, I'm back. I have some iced hibiscus tea. And what it is, it's that Tazo tea, and it's the passion. I just put 2 tea bags in cold water and put it in the refrigerator. I like it. Okay, so I'm trying to do here single crochets up the side. So let me try to think of anything else. Okay, so they told us that the stuff for the cruise, the yarn, has been received in North Carolina. Because see, Mikey and Diva Dan, they have to, from the Crochet Crowd, they had to ship their class materials and the yarn to North Carolina. And from North Carolina, the yarn and stuff from Yarn Inspirations is going to be trucked down to the port. The Port Everglades. Fort Lauderdale. Now there's a cruise the week before mine, so that's like the 18th or something. I don't know. I haven't looked at it. They're gonna do a week, and then mine is the last week. So let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14. You guys are bringing me such good luck. So, the yarn is on its way. And they already gave us a PDF file on the handbook. And the handbook for the cruise just kind of lets you know what to expect. So I'm putting 3 single crochets in the corner. What to expect on the cruise. So like, for example, the first night, between 7:30 and 8:30, they want us to come by the meeting room, and it's on the 4th deck. Oop, I had a stitch and I just pulled it out. It's on the 4th deck, and it's called the meeting room, and we're going to come there, or the meeting place or something like that. And they don't want us to line up and come in, you know, because of COVID. They want us to just, you know, come by there. And then at 8:30, they're going to have like a welcome aboard thing in like a nightclub or something that's right next door, or lounge. And generally, if I haven't said it before, generally the classes are going to be at 10 o'clock 1:30, and then maybe one after dinner. You know, different days. But those are the approximate times of days we'll be meeting. Sometimes there'll be a morning and an evening, or sometimes there'll just be a morning, or, you know, whatever. But if you don't show up for that meeting time, then you forfeit whatever yarn that they're giving out. So you have to kind of show up for all of them. But it's going to be fun. And then they're going to have some, like, a spin-off classes, like I talked about before, the sock class. And there's going to be a Tunisian class. And there's going to be a knit class. And okay, now see here, I have 12 stitches. And I need to have 14. So now I got to take a look here. And take some of them out. That one's kind of big. So, and then we have, so the 23rd is when I'm going to have my arts and crafts and my practice COVID test. I'm going to make a card and get a Q-tip and, you know, to show my husband, you know, exactly what's going to happen, you know, because when you get on there with the proctors, you know, you're going to be nervous and you might not be able to understand the guy when he's talking, or girl. And if you know what to expect, it's going to help out. So we're going to watch some YouTube videos. And then, okay, so then the 24th, we'll still be at home. We're going to take the test for real with the proctor. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. And then if we both pass, please God, let us pass. Then we are going to get up the following day, which will be the 25th, and drive 5 hours to the hotel. And then check in with them. I think that's when we're going to get our lanyard and class schedule and that kind of stuff. Then the morning of the 26th, we'll have a time that we're supposed to board the shuttle. And then they'll take us to the port. And then we will get on the boat, go through everything. And I tell you, at this point, it's like, when I get on that ship, I'm just gonna bend over and kiss the floor, you know. It's just kind of just like that, because I mean it. I hope it happens. And then after that, you got to get one of those drinks with the umbrella on it. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So I got 2 more I got to try to get out of here. So that's what's going on, you know, and that's just overtaking my psyche here. Yeah, that's going to be a busy week for us. That week of the 21st, because we get our income tax done on the 22nd, and it's all going to come running together. So, but it's like, I want to hurry up and do some of it right now. You know? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start joining these squares before I get on the boat, you know, because the plan is you're going to be sitting around and you'll be joining your squares, and, you know, people will see that you're working on this project and blah, blah, blah. But who knows, we might be busy with homework from the class and not even have time to do this blanket. So I'm not going to go with the whole thing not started. Because I was thinking about, you know, bringing 24 squares, and nah, we probably won't have time. So I'm going to put like half of the blanket together, and that way you guys will see it before I go on the cruise. And I hope to be taking some, you know, video clips and pictures on the cruise, so that I can share it with you guys. It's gonna be fun. So I need all of your prayers, you guys, to get us through those tests and get us on the boat. You know, because we've been waiting a long time to do this.
What you doing, Jeff?
So I can hear my husband. He's out there getting ready to make lunch. So I have to get heading that way. Doesn't want to go in. Doesn't want to go in. So I'll catch you guys later. I wanted to catch you up on what's going on. Thank you to all my new subscribers. I almost have 900 subscribers. And then we'll be getting up to 1,000 where we'll have a giveaway. But I need lots more watch hours, you guys. So just put me on a loop. Thank you guys. I love you guys so much. Love you. Bye.